ho, ho.
Hello. Hello. Can people hear us?
Hear?
That was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. The dulcet tones of Here We Crow.
Yeah. And male only, Here We Crow.
Coming to you live. We're baritone down. And by baritone down, I mean Lauren.
Yes. Sorry, Kate. No Lauren tonight. She's laid out. Hopefully she's all good.
Yeah, Lauren's torn her abductor.
Yep.
No, that's not true.
Chris Scott, very late out.
Yeah, she's a new Cats recruit, Lauren, and
She was
late out.
named originally.
She was named on the unofficial Here We Crow squad.
We're wasting all this comedy gold pre-actual pod.
This is the pre-roll.
Is it? Yeah. People pay good money for this. Should we kick it off?
Yeah. Oh, where's the horn?
Oh, no. We didn't
No,
do
Lauren's not here to do the horn.
We've already stuffed it.
I had like this great intro in mind.
Was it really horn-worthy? I guess it was a win.
It's a win.
Yeah.
The horn just comes out for a win.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Quote, unquote. Welcome, Sam.
Hello, Daniel.
Welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Dan.
It's episode 117. We don't have Lauren tonight if you heard the pre-roll. Lauren is late out, Geelong style. She's been recruited to Geelong, and as per that, is a late out. So we will miss Lauren. It is a Manly pod tonight. There'll be lots
that
of...
being said, she got a nice cheap farm. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she did.
Job with
Nice
the
cheap-
Morris Finance, was it?
that's right.
Yeah.
Cheap farm, Cotton On sponsorship. Lauren, sponsored by Cotton On.
But for some reason, going to Geelong, we had to give away our best next up player
Yes, Dean Gore.
just because they took her large salary.
Yeah,
Mm,
we got
yes.
Dean Gore. They got Lauren.
Is that a fair trade?
Well, it remains to be seen. He hasn't played any games
That's
yet
true. Yeah.
or done any pods.
Yeah.
So we also don't have a nuffy tonight. I felt completely failed. Rove McManus wouldn't answer my messages.
That's a bit rude from him, really.
And also, I think I might have mentioned it last time, but Cav Templey from Eskimo Joe, I reached out to him last year and he said, nah, Stu McLeod from Eskimo Joe is a bigger nuffy. And so he gave me his email. Two emails I've sent have been not responded to. So clearly...
So no more Eskimo Joe in the playlist.
Clearly it's gone to spam or he's just ignored it and deleted it and it's like, who are these nuffies reaching out to me? Anyway, we're going to talk all things the GWS game that we just played and won by 18 points. And we're going to talk a bit about Rob, of course. And we're going to talk about the upcoming game against Freo without enough. So be prepared for Ben's Dennis Armfield. So I'm sure he's prepared.
Yeah, of course he is.
Sure have.
But before we do any of that, it's 117th episode. Ben, what have you got for us?
It is. Okay, so debut player, I reckon you probably remember him roughly, Chris Laddams.
Roughly is correct.
Yes.
Did he play for Essendon as well?
He was drafted by Essendon.
Yeah.
Well, you should just read it out, my stuff for me, I reckon, Dan. He was drafted by Essendon, did not debut. We picked him up in the pre-season draft after he left there. 54 games from us between 2001 2004. Retired. After he finished with us, he went back to North Adelaide, played a couple seasons there, but then he retired due to ongoing neck pain, but it was due to a boat crash near Port Hughes.
Oh.
And there was a legal case where he sued the driver of the other boat,
I vaguely remember this.
causing a premature end to his SANFL career. I found the article about that, and they said the results in 2 weeks. And I couldn't find another article.
Everyone lost interest in Chris Adams.
Can only
about the
imagine
results,
it was a Catalina wine mixer.
So I don't know. I'm guessing he didn't win the suit if it didn't make the news again, but who knows?
Interesting.
Anyway, a few other tidbits post-football. So Looks like he worked as a duty manager at the Lockleys Hotel for a little while.
Oh, just had Renaults and Lockleys.
There you go. I think this was
Opposition though, so we won't say
I
it's
was
any
going to
good.
say, can you get in and find out? No, you
No.
can't.
It was a little while ago as well, I think. Looks like he's been a trainer at BHP Copper SA. So trainer, I'm not sure if that's general skills, fitness. I don't know. Could not find any extra information. But that's what he has been doing. And it looks like he has also coached a premiership in 2023 for the Harndorf under-12s.
There's a job on 5AA for you, Ben, I think. Next time we see Rowie, we might say, do you need a new Where Are They Now segment person?
All right. Yep.
Doesn't Graham Corns do that?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I look forward
No
to
one
that.
wants to listen to Cornsy.
No, that's true.
I'm sure
There's enough corns in
sure
the
it'll
media.
come into fruition. So
Thank you.
that'll be great.
I'll follow that up
Excellent. All right.
next time I'm at Complete Windscreens.
Good. 2017 season. Geez, are we pumped for that? So,
Oh boy.
minor round finish.
Pretty big season.
Do we remember where we finished the minor round?
First.
First is right. So, what could have possibly gone wrong? So, 15 wins, 6 losses. Do we remember our club champ in that such a successful year?
What year was it again?
17.
Was it Brad Crouch?
No.
Did he win one? No, I don't think he did.
I actually don't know.
I feel like I do, but I just can't
Well,
think
you half know because it was Matt Crouch.
of it.
Oh,
I knew it was A Crouch.
So Matt Crouch, Brad came 8th
Yep.
in that year. So leading goal kicker,
Tex.
no.
Eddie Betts.
Oh, Jenkins.
No, it was Betts for the 4th year in a row,
Oh.
pipping Tex by 1 goal. So 55 goals for Eddie, 54 for Tex. And Jenkins was about 45, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And then I think, I can't remember, I've forgotten the player, but someone else kicked like 24 or something. So we had a real potent, even spread in the forward line. A bit like what we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Some may
Just-
say it's a recipe for success.
Some might.
Ish.
Yep. Until it matters. So interesting to me facts about 17. So not directly related to 2017, but 117 was the number of games played by our inaugural captain, Chris Bone McDermott. So there you go.
Okay. In unison then.
Exciting.
It was that interesting. Not just to me.
Evidently.
Yeah, that year we played some finals. Some went well, some went poorly. Don't need to go into that. This was the year of Ben and Sam's Hobart game that left a fair old scar.
Still talk about it every 10 weeks or so.
Every time we play bloody North Melbourne.
My
I feel like
God.
we atoned for it a bit this year.
Yeah, we
it
did.
It was.
Yeah.
And then it was the Ben and Sam grand final party at a Tigers supporters house.
Yes.
Oh,
What an absolute stinker.
some may
Yeah.
think things couldn't get uglier after that.
Oh.
but-
There was a fair few beers consumed.
There was.
Yeah.
I think that my only highlight, I thought I'd made a pretty nice chili cheese fries for that day, actually. I think.
Oh, I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
It kind of got drowned out by the misery they
It
did.
did. Yeah. It was
Yes.
looking good there for a long
It was
time.
interesting.
But
I think it was Lizzie who was almost the most upset. We were still a bit numb, I think, Sam.
yeah, I think
She was upset for us. I think.
Yeah, she was very upset because we were down in the dumps pretty early.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened, but I was at a Crows supporter thing as well at my uncle's place, and some random Richmond supporters rocked up. I'm like, how? How do you even know Richmond supporters?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We were dominated the other direction.
Yeah.
We were the only Crow supporters in Hobart.
Yeah.
The only time that's worked out for me is when I was the only Crow supporter at the 119 Port loss.
Ah, yes.
That was
Yep.
good.
Speaking of Hobart, just while I remember, I think Quirky's in the chat. Did you end up finding somewhere to watch the game when you asked the other day, Quirky? Obviously, don't need to wait, Ben. Just he can throw it in the chat when he's ready.
No, I want to wait.
Okay, just some dead air.
No, so 2017 draft, coming off such momentum from last year. Do you remember the previous year? Really good.
Yes.
So this year, ups and downs. So with our first pick at pick 12, we took Darcy Fogarty. So,
Very good.
Pretty good. Pick 40, we went with Andrew McPherson. A bit of a injury-plagued, never quite reached
Could have
his
been
full
good.
potential. Had some good times, then, not for very long. Then I think we've got a few rookies. One was that Patrick Wilson who played, was it 2 games, 1 game,
Yeah.
2 games?
2, I think.
God, we fed him to the Wolves early, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think.
No.
yeah. Oh, no, he played like I don't know. He was smashing it for
SANFL.
SANFL ages.
Forever.
And then,
Like 30 every week. Yeah.
And he came in and did nothing against like Hawthorn at the MCG or something.
I feel like maybe he played a
Like a
West
night
Coast game. I don't know, but I don't. We've got it as a rookie pick. We've got Cam Ellis Yeoman, but I don't know if that was a re-rookie.
Re-rookie, yeah.
So, but not a re-rookie. I think this was straight into it. This was the start of the rebuild. Lachlan Murphy.
Oh,
Great.
Yep.
Excellent. What a good year.
And building on our good relationships with the Edwards family, we had Jackson Edwards as a rookie as well.
yes.
Oh, he was good. Yeah.
Worked out well.
Very
Yeah, it
good.
did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky Murphy, though, good bloke, comes from a good family. I'm sure. Is that it, Ben?
That's it.
All right. Shall we talk about the game?
Sure.
We shall. Gotta wait for the ball to bounce.
That ball bouncing so good.
Worth waiting. an
Hopefully
extra week for
everyone enjoyed that. I don't know if I can talk after that. New stinger thanks to Nintendo's Aussie Rules Football from 1990. All right. The Crows, for the record, you could choose lots of different colours for the Crows Guernsey back then, and it was like magenta. There was no stripes.
Is that the one you could fight in? No, that was 95, I reckon. They had fighting controls.
You could only kick and handball.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was way before the fighting game. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure lots of people in the chat remember that game fondly.
I think Adam does.
If you could get on your handball game, you could pretty much just belt anybody.
Yeah.
Just handball all the way to the goals and kick the goal.
Yeah, did you see AFL they're releasing another AFL game? AFL 26 is coming out.
Are they ever
soon.
going to get it right?
I don't think the first one's fixed yet. So it's not the first one, but the one that came out a couple of years ago.
I actually went looking for it yesterday to see if I can get it dirt cheap. And
you will in a few weeks.
Not available.
Yeah, when the new one comes out.
Anyway, let's talk about real football.
Yeah.
The Crows, we took on GWS on, what was it, Saturday, I think? Saturday,
yep.
Saturday, I'm just recasting my memory. We did get up by 18 points. It was an ugly affair. We started off really well, and pretty much that sort of first few goals we kicked in the game was the margin in the end of the game. So there was a lot of nothing happening in between, lots of skill errors from both teams. But what we did prove is that we can hold a good team down with some good defence. Yes, the weather wasn't great, but we did some really good things to keep GWS a genuine threat for the premiership. Down to 4 goals for the whole game. Definitely some massive positives to take out of it. It was a tough watch though, wasn't it?
It was. The wind seemed to have a fairly disproportionate effect on the game. I don't know. We were a bit, we're in the Western Stand, so we didn't really feel any of the wind. So it felt odd to see such an effect when it felt really, really calm where we were.
We did feel the rain though, didn't we?
At one point, yes, it did come through that little gap at the top.
It was raining sideways, quite literally.
Because while we're in the fancy stand, we are right up the top of the fancy stand, right near the back. So, yep, we did feel that for a little bit. But I think, some very easy shots at goal were being missed. Players were running under the ball. And, going one way, the ball seemed to travel for about 80 metres from the kick, and the other one was sort of going backwards a bit. And I don't know. It was
Ben,
just
I did feel at one point, though, when you did a bit of a Rain Man impersonation on the shot at goal by one of the players, saying it would go, he'd start at left and it'd end up right. It absolutely did that. So I feel like if you were out there, you may have kicked a few more, a la Phoenix.
Yeah, honestly, these players are not used to this sort of windy condition. They're used to more of a cauldron, which sort of protects them a little bit more. So when you get that stiff, sort of blustery weather,
You're still talking about football?
Yes.
All right.
It was certainly, they were aiming for the middle of the goals, hoping it would stay straight. They needed to aim a bit more left goal post sort of stuff, or just sort of off that side, but no, they weren't.
No, they would definitely not.
And it affects your ball drop as well, though. So they might have been aiming there, but the wind has just blown it off kilter when it's between hand and ball.
It's the first real game the Crows have played with any sort of conditions outside of sunny this year, so probably not a bad return considering.
We've had humid, but this is our first sort of windy sort of sort of day. So
And first non-shootout as well, pretty much. So.
certainly not a shootout. So, that was my slight concern is I'm hoping this isn't become a trend.
Mine too.
Last year, as we said, we went, all right, we've got to tighten up our defence and we forgot how to score. This week we were very effective at tightening up our defence, but going the other way, not a lot happened. So,
And we know what the games against Freo are normally like. So,
so hopefully it was just the scrappy conditions that weren't conducive to scoring. But I have a lot more fun at the football when a few more goal songs and stuff are happening. So we'll see. Having said that, though, I thought we did, particularly early, we did a really good job of sort of keeping the ball in our forward half. They were often kicking it out and we were either intercepting or providing a contest, so they didn't have their free-flowing handball through defence to get into the forward line, which on a windy day I would have thought they'd want to try a bit more with that handball instead of having to kick and whatnot, but we didn't really let them play their natural game, so it was really good. While I'm on a roll, do you want me to just get my stats done?
yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yep. So midfield, I think, is a big area where we pretty much won the game. So clearances, we were 37 to 24, helped out by 47 to 18 hit-outs. How about that? So we won we lost tackles overall, but we won inside 50 tackles, which we haven't done a lot at all this year, so 9 to 8. So that was a bit more pressure up forward, which was nice. It was also possibly because we couldn't kick goals, so they weren't going through the goals. They were staying in their 50 and we had a chance to tackle. But they were the main things, really. I know there's one particular person that we have some keenness to talk about. So
I should have had a stinger for it.
we had the bounce back from Rob. I think maybe we talked disproportionately, as second time I've used that on this one episode, about Rob and how much impact he has on our team. But it was a different game to the last two. He had the 17 possessions, brackets 35% efficiency, 7 intercept possessions, so that was good. I don't have anything negative to say about that. He had the 4 marks, but he didn't break his duck at the 0 contested marks this game. So we've still got that almost, that'll be quite the moment when that happens this season.
It was pleasantly surprising in the first half, I say within brackets, that to see him take some uncontested marks and just that one bite of the cherry and take the mark. There was a classic one, I think, in the third quarter where it slipped right through his fingers, uncontested as well, which was a bit more on par. But honestly,
I didn't think it was a breakout like best on ground sort of a performance, but I'm not expecting that from him. So it's if he can just become a bit more involved like he was.
The hype after the game as though he was best on.
There are people blowing their collective loads over it.
It was weird. It was what we should be expecting from him in a game where he's
it was
up
a par performance.
It was a par performance, especially against the ruck that he's well matched up against and who looked like he had no step in him at all. Briggs really struggled. So good on Rob for doing it. But I think it's what we should expect.
Well, I think he played his role. And so it's the role that we need him to play.
So credit where credit's due. He was good without being great. And he won his position, which is great. Like Briggs, he definitely lowered Briggs's colours, which was great.
Yeah. We've got some stats here. Vardy Magic sent me some stats last night and they concern Rob.
I was just going to say though, and you can go into that
directly to yourself. You got a little hotline.
I've got a hotline.
What is that? I don't get a hotline to Vardy, but I'm not on Twitter
Very
anymore.
Special. No, it's just on Discord, mate.
I'm not on that either. But I was just going to say one last thing is we shouldn't have 4 bad games to get one good game from Rob every time.
Oh, absolutely.
That seems to be the trend.
Yeah.
And then we accept that he's.
I'd argue more 2 bad games than
yeah.
Oh, he's hardly done anything this year.
He started the season fine.
He was okay.
Yeah.
Again, then it was pretty bad, and then there was 2 absolute shockers. So.
Yeah, 2 shockers. So I mean, the point is, he shouldn't need to get a rocket up him every few weeks to play a decent game.
Exactly.
He should be consistently playing that well.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
and we've seen that before from him. The rocket.
Usually he gets dropped, but he didn't get dropped this time because there's a ready-made ruckman to replace him.
No, that's right.
It's drawn out.
Well, no ready-trained ruckman or played.
They're obviously not willing to put McAndrew in yet because he's not ready.
No.
So lucky Rob. That's all I can say.
Rob contested mark average since 2020, 1.94, 1.9, 155, 139, 0.62, 0. So he's getting progressively worse in that stat, which is probably what we would have expected. Just off the top of our
I
head.
think he's definitely less effective in that, but I'd also wonder if that's a bit of a competition-wide trend as well. I think where there's not as many bomb down the lines, the teams are trying to move it on quickly, and ruckmen don't have the chance to get in the way as much as they used to.
A bit of that, and probably a bit of clever defence to stop it from happening as well.
Yeah. So I reckon he's dropped off, but I think most ruckmen who do that have probably also dropped off.
But he does hit it. Old Symbols, as Rowie calls him, does hit his hands a lot.
He doesn't have the most supple hands when in a marking contest.
No.
Supple is not a word I'd use for him.
Yeah.
But
anyway, we don't need to talk about it. Obviously, it was a fine game.
Yeah, in summary, fine game. We need sustainable fine games.
Yes. Let's talk about an actual positive.
And in the summary, when we talk about the next game, I think he's got a ruckman that suits him okay.
Yes. We shall see.
Yeah, exactly. Who's underdone again as well, like Briggs seemed.
Yep.
Yeah. Max Michelani.
Yes, what a game.
Possibly his best game.
He's had some pretty good games.
He's had some good games, but I reckon
his effect to quell a very dangerous player was impressive.
Yeah, and do a fair bit on the rebound as well. He looked the most solid. I had Easter with the family on the weekend, so I didn't go to the game, but on the TV, he certainly looked like the one you kind of wanted the ball in his hands when a lot of others were making a fair few mistakes. So, he was great. And obviously kicking his first goal was fantastic to see.
Good goal too.
It was a very good goal. Yeah.
I think the defence, by and large, stood up pretty well.
Hinge was good.
Hinge, Worrell, Millera.
Yeah. Murray back.
Murray is absolutely crucial for our structure.
It was just nice seeing him there. I felt safer with him there.
Yeah, it wasn't that he did heaps, but
he
he definitely let the other players run around a bit more, which I think freed up Max and Josh Worrell quite a bit.
Yeah,
which was great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then forward line. I think the forward line in general struggled a little bit, but it was they just did enough, didn't they? The ball got
obviously Fogg getting that sort of collarbone soreness didn't help with that big bump. He didn't get to do much. I thought Tex was still okay. Kicked a couple of goals.
Yeah.
Phil thought, obviously, with Fogg going down, he gets a bit more attention. So he seemed to struggle a little bit again, second week in a row.
Yeah, he was one of the main culprits running under the ball and stuff as well. I thought
he was
with the wind. So
Jake said Murray in makes Keane play football, which is it's a good call.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I think it was good.
Yeah, and guys Saligo had a better game without being outstanding.
Yep. Neil Bullen was great.
Neil Bullen had a really good game. Yeah, correct.
It was an ugly game to watch.
Yeah,
it wasn't enjoyable really at all. It was one of those games that if we lost, it would have been a real downer afterwards because it was a shit game.
I'll just say, because you didn't go, Henry did go, and he did find the game enjoyable.
So. All right.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good to get an outside perspective outside of the podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks, Henry.
The other enjoyable thing I had from Henry was, I think, was it yesterday, where he, unprompted by me, let Sam know that he was beating him at fantasy.
Yes, no, Sam doesn't care about fantasy anymore, so we don't need to talk about it.
Really
going by your team score, you really don't care. Anyway, shall we get into some votes?
Let's get into
Have you got more to talk about?
Nah.
All right, let's get Lauren's votes to start with. Have you got them there?
I do. Lauren went 3 to Hinge, 2 to Maxi, and 1 to Rankin.
Nice one. And how about you, Ben?
I went a bit different. I've given the first one to Alex Neil-Bullen. I thought his game was 20 possessions, but I think he ran the most on the ground. He had a real toughness, and he was quite clean with his possessions when we really needed it. So he went at like 85 efficiency. Thought he was really good. Max, I did go for 2 as well, and I gave 1 to Dawson. He was prevalent, but some disposal issues, which dropped him down to 1 vote, but he still had 8 tackles, 5 score involvements, 5 intercept possessions, and he had 9 inside 50s.
Nice. How about you, Samuel?
I gave 3 to Max. It just seemed like after the game, I just felt like he was the best player on the ground. Gave 2 to Rankin. He did enough. He made some mistakes, but he's just everywhere at the moment. Deserving of 2. And I gave 1 to Neil Bullen, same as Ben, or not the same as Ben. Ben gave him 3, but he was very good.
Nice. I had Max as well for 3 votes. I had Mitch Hinge for 2, who I thought was really good in lots of passages throughout the game, especially in the first half. And I gave 1 to Alex Neil Bullen. And that is that.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
Now, I know who Lauren gave her quite achiever to.
Yes.
Who was it, Sam?
It was Riley O'Brien.
Yes.
It's probably good she's not here.
And this
I think that's why she didn't come.
the real reason
maybe.
we had a late scratching.
I think she dropped the bomb.
That came through and we were like, no.
She didn't want to come here and discuss it. She's like, they're already going to talk about Rob. I don't want to talk about it again.
Yeah.
And then we got the late call out.
Yes. Yeah, she gets a bit funny with some of the negativity sometimes, which I can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think it swings both ways a little too far, the pendulum. So the absolute praise this week versus the absolute pile on in previous weeks.
Well,
I prefer to keep it just all on the negative side.
I know you would.
Yeah. The pendulum swings to halfway and then goes back again. I gave it to Hinge.
Yeah. Nice. How about you, Ben?
Hinge for me.
Hinge for you? The hinge of the pendulum, so to speak.
Yes.
That's
it only goes halfway.
Yeah, that's certainly a thing. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the pod name.
Fulcrum.
You've got the title for the pod
fulcrum?
already.
Fulcrum. That's that's the point at which
That it goes.
Did someone write that in the chat?
No, I just thought of it.
Okay. I went with Wayne Miller for mine.
Yeah, he's looking all right, actually.
The last couple of weeks, he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
There's just that one thing where he tried to take on 2 players.
Oh,
and got
yeah.
absolutely caught.
And you could see that. Even on the TV, you could see that happening.
Yeah, it's like, that never was going to work.
No.
No. Needs to be a touch smarter than that.
And that's why he was only the quiet achiever.
Yeah. What's next?
Your segment.
Woohoo!
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
Ben, I don't have any goods. Ben reckons he's got some.
Do have a couple. So I showed you just before the podcast, we made ourselves some hot cross buns from scratch, but they needed some ingenuity. So Thursday night I got the ingredients, had 2 very excitable children with me at the supermarket, and I forgot the fruit. So in the end, what I did was I raided the Sultana brand, and I picked out as many Sultanas as I could find.
This is how exciting it gets in the Turnbull household, everyone.
It was. And we had a pack of dried pears.
Oh, wow.
So you ruined the Sultana brand for everyone.
No, I made
That's what I'm
delicious
taking
hot
from
cross
it.
buns. So, and they turned out a treat. I haven't made them since my Hobart days, actually, where I had a very harsh appraisal of my last effort. So it took me several years before having another go, but they worked out well.
I'm glad your hot cross buns worked out, but please remind me next time I'm in Strath, next time I invite to your house, not to have a bowl of Sultana bran.
We will have worked through that.
It'll just be
It'll just be bran. Turnbull bran.
Other thing, food based again. So it was Claire's birthday just before Easter. And one thing she's wanted for a long time was an air fryer. So we are now part of the air fryer community.
What'd you get?
Welcome. Audi special?
It was the Philips Double XL.
Oh, yeah.
So not the Audi
Yeah,
special.
I know the one. Is that the two trays?
We went the single tray. We really didn't know how big we should go or how much we'll use it. So we have gone the single, but it's about a 7-odd litre capacity.
Yeah,
So
we went the big single.
Did you throw out your microwave? Because you won't need that anymore.
And this is why
Nah, you still need a microwave.
Sam expressed his disappointment that I was the one supplying the goods pre-pod, and I thought surely air fryer Sam will be on that.
I'm not like weird about them, but we did get one and I do like it.
Well, we made first thing we did, other than your standard chips, because you just got to do chips in the air fryer. We did chicken drumsticks with a spice rub on top. Crispy outside, tender, juicy inside, all cooked all the way through the bone. You know how you do them on the barbie and they're burnt as buggery on the outside and pink and bloody in the middle? None of that action. This was spectacular.
Do you have an app for yours?
It does have an app. I can look at it on my phone. If
It's
I really
completely
want to.
useless.
It's not. Seems very unnecessary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think all apps for appliances are
so-
basically useless.
So that was those two, and then last one, Saturday twilight game. I found it quite pleasant to go to.
Saturday twilight. Oh, the actual
3:45 game.
Yeah.
You get a bit of day game, bit of night game.
I agree.
Yeah, I like the twilight games. Yeah.
You're not home at a ridiculous. Like now that we're all a bit boring and don't get to really have a drink after the game, it works quite well. So.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan of the twilight games. I think.
Yeah.
And a Saturday for me, particularly, like not having to go to work the next day.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Very good.
I do have a good, and it's food related. I forgot.
I have a good as well.
We got pizzas. Dad's made some more pizzas, and he's getting close. They're getting very, very good. He went down the Polish route. Have you looked into Polish, the way of making pizza dough?
Polish.
Tell us more, Sam.
Well, you make it really wet to start with, and let it sit for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And it ferments away. Not ferments. It what's the word? We put yeast in it.
I feel like Jasmine's done that.
That is a form of fermentation.
Fermentation. Yeah, I was right then. And yeah, it was delicious. He did a fantastic job.
How long does he proof the dough for?
It was at least a couple of days.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
More flavour.
Yeah.
I have
Nice.
I have a good as well, and this is a backflip.
Is it food?
No, it's not. It's Bailey Sniff. Doing a backflip from last week when I thought he was a bit of a wanker for flipping the double bird. I actually like the double bird now. I think, given the context of how crap fans have been this year, and slagging off players to their face and stuff, I'm backflipping and saying good on him for the double bird, but also he's just gone, fuck you, AFL, I don't care about you fines. I'm going to flip another bird this week.
Yeah, it's good.
He doesn't care. He gives zero fucks.
I think he's gone a bit too far. The whole
Ben, let me finish.
No, well,
This isn't a rebuttal. This is my good or bad. You don't
this
get
is
to
good.
disagree.
You can put it in the
You
bag.
can't slam a bloody football in someone.
I liked that. I
Wait,
thought
no,
it was funny.
I was getting to that bit. Yes.
And you're wrong to like that, Sam.
I agree with
funny.
Sam. I agree with Sam. He did it to an export player, John Limpy, which is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a bit of a wanker move, but but the bird flipping,
It's a lot of a wanker move.
the flipping of the bird is a wanker move too, and like the kids at home watching that are going to learn from it as they do, and that's the part of the problem. However, I do like the two things I like about it is he's sticking up fans who are being assholes.
Yep.
One. And secondly, he doesn't care about the fines that he's
No.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't get half a fine for one bird versus two. So
No, you did not.
Anyway,
I agree with you. I'm on board. Well, I've got a couple of recommended retails, which you don't have a stinger for. Might have to get on that.
Oh.
Can you do that?
yes.
Maybe at some point? That's okay. Not now.
I'll find.
It's fine.
No, that's right. I'll find some old Rowan Jarman footage.
I put it in the recommended retails because I don't know. Well, I guess there's nothing good about it. I guess maybe that we didn't get too carried away about it. But the kid who threw the banner at Alir, the Sydney kid, that was the bad. Like what belongs in the bads is obviously you shouldn't do it. Not condoning it in any way.
And I think it ended up being less of a throw and more of a swing where it came out of his hand.
Exactly. And let's be fair, it was a paper banner. It wasn't going to hurt him even if it smacked him in the head. But the bads were like the way that Fox Footy just kept showing it. I'm assuming it was the same on 7 if it was on there
We
too.
got the old magnifying glass on it.
Yeah. Look at this guy. This is like, he was, how old was he? 14, 15 or
Well,
something?
I've heard different. I think the police report said 16.
Yeah. But then was it his grandpa? He said 13?
Well,
Whether he was legit?
it his grandpa?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's what is real, what is not. But and then you get the whole but people with machetes don't ever have to go to jail, and this guy's in jail, but I don't think he actually went to jail. It's just people just they push things in their own agenda.
Yeah, this actually probably belonged in the bad, really, because most of the things I have to say about it are bad. But as it is bad, but the reaction to it just seemed way over the top. Like for this kid, okay, he did the wrong thing, but he's just an idiot kid. Like I think the reaction to it was way overblown. SCG's banned him for 2 years, which apparently the AFL were a bit blindsided
didn't know
by.
about it.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But the other recommended retail was the Stool Gift winner. John Evans, he's from Adelaide, which is, that's a good thing. He's from Adelaide, won the race, but obviously he was up against Gout. Is it Gout?
Oh, yeah.
In the race. And so they're beating it up as though he beat Gout.
Did have a 50-metre head start.
Gout started in Ararat.
Yeah.
So it was a massive head start that he had. It was ridiculous. So I don't, it must feel weird to sit back and go, getting all these people heaping praise on you saying you beat Gout, but you had a like at least a 20-metre head start.
It's weird how that works.
Yeah, really strange. Anyway, good on him. That's why it was in the middle, because obviously there's positives as well. But anyway.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
Ben, you've wound up. Oh, sorry, Sam. You've wound up this segment tonight of how many bads you've got. So I'm really eager to find out what you've got.
All right, I'll get going. Chris Scott defending his constant laid outs on people were having a crack at him, and he basically said, "We'll get stuffed. I don't care about the gambling. I don't care about whatever. I'm gonna name teams whenever." He's a dickhead. Like it's so annoying for fans.
Yeah, you get to the point where certain coaches get to a level of arrogance where they just think, "What doesn't really matter what anyone else wants.
Yeah.
What I want to do is what I'm going to do."
Yeah. It's just poor form, and like I think we've said it in the past that you do that in an American sport and you'll find like millions of dollars for and I know that's mostly gambling based is the reasoning for that, and I don't necessarily care about the gambling aspect of it, but it's just annoying for everybody, fans, anyone that cares about the game. Like it's just weird, and they do it intentionally, which is why it's annoying. Yeah. Good Friday football, love Good Friday football. But the games, my God, they need to have a look at those, don't they? They were both
North Melbourne
stinkers.
just ruin it, don't they?
Yeah,
so bad.
Yeah, terrible. So like that North game was shocking, wasn't it?
I saw some. I can't recall the stats, but I saw some stats of their Good Friday games since they've been doing them, and they've just been pumped nearly every time.
Yeah.
Like it's
terrible.
ridiculous.
Going on from that, Constanti for shushing the crowd when he kicked a goal only to have the Roos down by 73. Probably don't need to be shushing the crowd when you're down by over 10. The insufficient intent commentary when you guys were at the game, so unless you watched the replay, you might not have seen it. But they were having a crack at the keeping the ball in. I can't even remember which player it was now, but Dwayne and
Was this
Burgoyne.
the Sam Taylor one where he pushed it straight to the line near our goals?
Yeah.
And Taylor had the...
Yeah, and they were saying that it was close enough to his teammate that it shouldn't have been called, but he was going for the line. And
it was directed straight at the line.
Yeah.
Watching it live, there was a lot of space between him and the Crows player, and he just went straight for it.
Yeah, it was very weird. I thought out of all of them that we get, all of these deliberate no intent calls, that was one of the more blatant ones. So
they love Sam Taylor, though, the commentator. And granted, he's one of the best defenders, but I'd say that played into it a bit.
Just a quick one for Kate. Majors Road off-ramp, still not complete. Certainly having some issues there by the looks of it.
Certainly no quicker for my drive. No.
Oh, my Lord. That thing is just, that doesn't move. It's so shit. And now we have to go 60 through there.
I'm still doing 40 for my part.
It's just awful. Anyway, the umpiring in general, we were discussing it with Jake before the podcast tonight. Just got hardly any idea what's going on at the moment. Holding the ball, 15-metre kicks, running too far, I feel like the
15-metre kick one is prevalent this year more than it has been.
It is.
It's really...
They've cracked down on it, but they cracked down on it without really knowing what 15 metres is anyway.
Then you get your justifications from Razor Ray, sounds like he's in a courtroom going through a case as if that's exactly what this umpire was thinking in that split second. So it's very frustrating. There's way too much grey area in our game at the moment.
There is, and I probably shouldn't have made this the worst, but it just popped up this afternoon because apparently Cow Toomey has said that if Harley Reid was to leave, that his most likely destination was Geelong. So if that happens, I may legitimately give up on watching football.
Yeah,
because if they can squeeze him in their salary cap, we've got some big issues.
Yeah, it's already pretty stinky down that way.
It is very stinky.
Yeah.
So,
Bailey Smith is dominating at the moment.
Yeah, so. I understand. I said this same comment about Bailey Smith that I would be pretty mad if they managed to squeeze him down there. But if they can do Harley Reid as well,
you're forgetting it could be Harley Reid and Jamari Ugrahagan.
Yeah, I know, that's right. And look, good on them in a way for creating an environment that the players want to play at, but you can't tell me that they're squeezing them all in. It
doesn't feel like they're playing by the same rules.
No, it doesn't. No.
No Bolter chat in your bads?
Look, that whole thing was stupid, wasn't it? I had him in my bads last week. Obviously, I didn't make it to the pod. How Richmond thought that was a good idea to play him on the weekend is beyond me. A day or two before his sentencing.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's been sentenced now and he's got his curfew. But what a mockery that's just making of the whole thing that he can't play night games. Like,
Well, yeah. I don't know why he's still playing when he has been convicted in a court.
This is going to come across as very nuffy Crows areas. But could you imagine if he was a Crows player?
I thought you were going to say the fact that we play him at daytime at the MCG.
Of course.
So we'll get him.
We've had players go through far less than this and be convicted of nothing and have been forced to trade or not allowed to play for the club again or et cetera, et cetera. I'll let you guys think about who that might have been. But I just don't understand. And now there's sort of like this, we'll probably just forget about it and no one will get taught. And then Uze's getting all shitty in his press conference today.
Oh, and Dimmer's been a classy individual as well.
Yeah.
I missed the Dimmer piece.
Did you? Oh, well, he was asked about it. And then I think he said something about how the Premier should just get back in her box as if law and order has nothing to do with the Premier of the state.
Yeah.
And as if she brought it up out of nowhere as opposed to actually being asked a direct question about Noah Bolter.
Are having a few issues with the law over in Victoria, I think, from what you hear.
Well, depends what you hear. But you might suggest that some of that gets overblown for political purposes.
I agree with what Quirky said, though. I thought about this in the car, actually, the Bolter thing, and then I forgot to put it in my notes. But the good side of that, and it should have been in recommended retail, was the judge told him to piss off when he said that was going to affect him playing night games. So that part of it is good.
Well, I mean, one of the options was jail time. So he's gotten away with just having to be home at 10.
It does feel like him and the club just feel like they had the right to just he suffered enough. That was the worst call.
It's a sense of he suffered enough, and don't you realise how important he is?
Yeah. What about the guy who got his head knocked in?
Yeah.
Could easily have been a fatal thing. So,
crazy. Yeah. Anyway, there was another good comment in here. Jad's in the chat. 77-metre penalty for Dacos. Yeah, I missed that one. That was
umpires' ability to know how far anything is just stupid. We should not have rules that they need to adjudicate a distance for.
And just on top of that, they're talking about the red card thing again after the Nash. Nash got 4 weeks tonight, if you guys hadn't heard.
Right, yeah.
But they were talking about the red card. There is no way I want red cards in the hands of umpires. Could you imagine how that would go down?
And who's the biggest proponent of a red card?
Chris Scott?
Lethal Lee Matthews.
That's right. Somebody brought it up on the couch, wasn't he?
Dirty.
Yeah.
No one should be listening to
I'm
him.
just so looking forward to him not being part of the mediascape.
Yeah.
I have not liked his point of view for a long time.
No. I've seen a few footy panel things that I've had to take photos at in the last couple of years with him at them, and they don't get better behind semi behind closed doors. There's no investigation into your salary cap bottomless pit, and you're all good. Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah, the old. The guy who used to do it. Yeah, checking that it's all fine.
Did I make any mistakes? No.
looks pretty good. Yeah.
Looks pretty spotless. Wow, that was marathon bads actually.
It's all right.
I missed a week and had a fair few. So sorry about that, everyone.
It's all right.
Went a bit off the rails, really. Should we get Nuz?
We should. I was going to suggest that. Well, I've got the button ready for when you get him. But
pad for a bit.
Yeah, I was just going to say that when the SANFL Crows team is playing, they're playing all right, and they got another win over the weekend. We do have Nuz, our man on the ground at the SANFL. We just assume that he's there and he's at the game.
I assume so, yeah.
He's at least watching them.
I assume he's at the huddle at halftime.
He's at least watching the games more than we are. And he's going to give us a bit of a SANFL wrap, and we have a stinger this time, so it's very exciting stuff. And when we do get him on the phone shortly, Samuel.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot that Lauren normally does this bit.
That's absolutely fine. We will get there.
We don't get the ringtone then, I assume.
We will not. No, we'll get whatever
sadly.
ringtone. I don't even know what ringtone I've got, and it's always on silent.
Well, we're about to find out.
I just hope it's embarrassing.
So do I. It'll be good.
It'll just be the default. I wouldn't have ever changed it.
Sensible said it's voicemail. I don't know what that means.
Because he's probably calling the Crow phone. Lauren's got that.
That's all right.
No, let's get on there. Get on my phone.
We're going to hear it. Yeah, it's coming through.
It's working.
The switchboards are lighting up.
Nuz, can you hear us?
I can. How are you guys?
Oh, g'day, Nuz. It's lovely to hear your voice.
Hello, guys. Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, good, especially after a good win. It was the first proper challenge that we actually succeeded, so I'm happy that we win in horrible conditions. It's those kind of games that, win your finals, and that's what I was pleased about most.
Yeah, we can all agree with that. Now, we've got you on the line tonight to talk about SANFL, but before we do that, I think we need to play your new stinger.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go.
When I say sun, you say full. Sun, full, sun. When I say sun, you say full. Sun, full, sun. When I say sun, you say full. Sun, full, sun. North and south, Glenelg and west. Fuck the port, 'cause we're the best.
That might be your best yet, I reckon.
Yeah.
Bit of me time with the length there, though, I reckon.
Oh, no, it was a bit long.
That's a pretty long stinger. Sorry, Nuz, that's all we have time for you.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
I might trim the start of it a little bit.
I liked it. It was good.
All right. Over to you, Nuz.
It's creepy, Dan, Lauren said.
Thanks, Lauren. That's why you're not here tonight.
Sorry, Nuz.
Well, look, the game was played on a Friday night, and it was a good Friday for us because we won by 4 points, and it was a very good challenge. Like Glenelg were winning at the first couple of minutes, and then they came back really hard, and we held on, which is good because usually in those sort of games we end up losing somehow. But we basically had to weather the storm for about 5 minutes there. They were coming very late in the piece, and it looked like McBean was ready to kick his fifth goal. He had a bit of a night out on Borlace, unfortunately, so Borlace is definitely not best on ground. But the good thing is we held on, and there are a lot of interesting take-outs of the game. So where do I start? Do you want to name players, or do you want me to go through?
It's been a few weeks. Was it hard remembering who all the players were?
Yeah. No, I looked at one player, and that was it. So I don't know.
I reckon you want to start with your man, Blake Drury, I reckon, Nuz.
He's the best player on our team on the SANFL. It's actually crazy. Like, I never thought that would be the case. He's playing a midfield role. The bloke got 9 clearances out of his 25 touches. Like, he got the rebounds, the inside 50s, 8 tackles. He did everything, and I don't know what it was about North delisting him. Maybe they were playing him out of position. But it's interesting that he's now dominated a midfield position where he was playing against a very good midfield in the Lions brothers, amongst others, as well as doing well in the half-forward flank role. So, I mean, if he keeps this form up, it's a no-brainer for mid-season draft. I don't know if we're going to get him or another club, but he's one of the best in the SANFL.
We can actually get on the park. So Edwards, Dowling and Ryan obviously at the top of the stat sheet. I think Dowling's probably looking close.
Yeah. He's every time he gets the ball, you can just tell he's got the kind of Scott Pendlebury vibes about him in SANFL. He never gets rushed. So whether that translates across to AFL, we haven't really seen enough. He's only played, 6 AFL games. But in those 6 AFL games, he's averaging 17 touches. Like, he knows how to get the ball. He's got a midfield pedigree, but he can play on the outside. But he's been getting goals from the midfield, which is something that we've been lacking. Now, I don't know what we want from him moving forward. Are we planning for him to be the next upcoming midfielder? Are we planning for him to be the next wingman? Or are we going to play him on a half-forward flank and watch his career go down the gurgler like one Luke Pedler?
That seems most likely.
Yes. Yeah, if we're betting on this, I'd bet to say the fourth flank role. But no, he's absolute class, and he doesn't get 30 touches, but every time he gets it, he's a high impact player, creates goals. He just knows what to do. High IQ player, very good. And the other two you mentioned, Edwards and Ryan. Edwards continues to shine on the half-back flank really well. He's taken a bit of Oscar Ryan's spot. So I don't know if Oscar Ryan's got the second-year blues as Vardy Magic alluded to. But Ryan had his best game of the year, which is pleasing to see. Lots of rebound 50s, so he got 5 rebounds 50s. Whereas Charlie Edwards, still playing off the half-back flank, got only 3 rebound 50s, but he got 6 inside 50s. So what the difference is that we're seeing with Edwards is he's really good at run and carry, and the old 1-2. So he's very impressive, and I keep saying it every week, but he's ready for AFL, and if he played instead of, say, Millerer, or we were resting someone else, he would slot straight in, and I reckon he'd get you 15 touches straight off the bat.
Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Well,
anyone else you want to mention, Nuz?
Yeah, look, Schonberg did what Schonberg does, as we know, same with Brodie Smith. Chase Jones had a better game, but again, he's not doing quite enough to garner an AFL return.
I'd almost forgotten about him.
Yeah, I know. No, he's definitely down the pecking order. Lockie Murphy, 19 and a goal, but he got lots. Again, it just did what Murphy does. Really good pressure, really good tackling, but every time he gets the ball, he's just lacking that kind of penetration or good decision making. So he's a good backup, but I hope that's all he ever is. Moving forward, we've got these other kids that are doing very well, but the Lockie McAndrew, again, 51 hit outs. He's just taking the piss. Yeah. He really is. I don't know whether Rob saw that and said, shit, if I don't play well this week, I'm actually going to, but so it's good. I just want to see McAndrew play in the AFL a couple of times to see if he is good enough, especially now that Sam Draper from Essendon is injured. We might have the next ruckman on our list. We just don't know. And we tried this. If you remember, this has gone back about 8 years ago. We did this with Sam Jacobs on the way out. We knew that. And we actually had O'Brien playing a couple of games. I don't know whether that was through injury or form, but O'Brien had a very good game against, I think it was Brisbane at home. And he did just enough, and we're like, nah, he's going to be a good enough AFL ruckman. Yeah. And then we knew, didn't we?
Yeah. I think it was the last few games, yeah.
Yeah, and I hope we do that with McAndrew as well, even if it's just for a rest or if it's against West Coast or something like that. And we just give him a shot and say, mate, you've got 2 weeks, show us what you can do, and if you play well, we'll give you a 3-year contract. I mean, it's a no-brainer in mine, but we know that, Nix has got form for not playing the juniors when they're in form. We missed out on the debut for Oscar Ryan last year against Sydney. That was a no-brainer in my opinion. We missed that. But the last thing I want to mention is Luke Pedlar and the demise of Luke Pedlar's form. It's been staggering. He even the commentators who are pro-Glenelg commentators, even they noticed Pedlar struggling, and they noticed that he was second to the ball in lots. He got lots of tackles, but that's because he was second to the ball very often, and he's lacking reading the play. He looks either disinterested or lacking confidence, or could be a whole combination of different things. But I'll be surprised to see him at the club next year, whether it be delisting or trade or something else.
He's not contracted next year?
No, he might be contracted, but I do know for a fact that he is looking for a trade if he can't get himself back into the 22. And the way he's playing at the moment, he isn't even close.
No. Yeah. And one other guy I wanted to ask about who hasn't come up at all this year is Braden Cook. Is he in a similar spot to Pedlar, do you think?
I think so, yeah. He just, every time he gets the ball, he's like Billy Dowling. He's really good decision maker, really, fast through the air and all this kind of stuff. His good is great, but his worse, he just completely goes missing, and he just can't get himself involved in the game as much.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether we try and make him into some sort of forward pocket type player. He's skilled enough around the goals to be that type, but I think he lacks the defensive pressure that we're looking for in a small forward type role. So he's a bit lost, and I think he is contracted for next year, but at the very least he's going to be good SANFL depth, but he just hasn't come on like we hoped.
Yeah, and they were from the same year, I think. Pedlar and Cook.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that year was notoriously not great. It was Thilthorpe, then Pedlar at 11, Sam Berry, Braden Cook was just before him at pick 25, and then we got Jimmy Rowe, of course.
So the only one that's really worked out at this stage is Filthy.
Yeah, it seems so. And but how's this for a bit of a kick in the teeth? Around the James Rowe pick were two players that would be great for the club at the moment, and that's well, one we couldn't get because he's taken the pick before, and that's Corey Durden, who the last 2 weeks, Corey Durden, the South Australian, has averaged 3 tackles inside 50. He's actually leading tackles inside 50 in the AFL for the last 2 weeks. And as well as getting plenty of goals, albeit against bad opposition, but you can only play who you're playing. And the other player, of course, was McCreary for Collingwood. And he came after, so, you know, wouldn't he be nice right now?
Yeah, I know lots of people wanted him at the time too, but yeah.
Yeah, look, honestly, I still think Jimmy Rowe was a bit hard done by, but
yeah, same.
It is what it is.
Sam doesn't.
Well, riddle me this. All right, riddle me this. Why the hell do we still have Murphy and only just McHenry, right, when we got Jimmy Rowe who can actually kick a goal?
Yeah, Jimmy should have been the third one to go out of those three.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Look, Ball 8 didn't have a great game. He'll want that one back. Tyler Welsh is a concern. He seems to have gone backwards, but he's a long-term project. And the last one, Hugh Bonds didn't really do enough to make himself noticed by the selectors, but he plays a unique role, so we'll see. But the ones to watch out for is my man Billy D and the 2 kids, Edwards and Ryan.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Thanks, Naz. And who have you got for this week? Rose, on Good Friday evening. Who have you got winning?
Good Friday.
Good Friday.
No, not Good Friday. Sorry, Anzac Day. Yeah. Anzac Day. It's Anzac a Friday holiday.
I think Freo are just going to, and it's only because of the fanfare of Anzac Day and that will kind of help a steely resolve for Fremantle. If it was any other day, I reckon we'd win. But they'll use it. Of course, they'll use it against us, and it'll be a close one. But they are missing quite a few players. Yago Amira's out with a hamstring, and
that helps.
Luke Jackson's out as well. So I reckon they're going to win by maybe 8 points.
They're also coming off a loss, which is never helpful.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
A loss to a rabble.
Yeah.
A rabble. Hey, do you need more votes? Are we still doing that?
Oh, yeah.
For the game?
You want to give them?
We'll grab your votes.
Yeah, for the game, for the AFL. What was it? Dawson for 3. I've got, now this is a controversial one, I've got Tex for 2.
Ooh.
Well, just watch out around Sam with those sorts of votes.
And I couldn't squeeze in O'Brien for 1 vote, but I got to give it 1 to Max.
Yeah, no, that's good. We had Max for a few here too.
Is that Rob for the Quiet Achiever then?
Yeah, sort of.
Nah.
No.
Don't let the voice of affirmation. Quiet Achiever,
Zach Taylor. I saw an effort on the the Western Wing. Do you remember that? Where he chased after about 3 players in a row.
Oh, yeah.
And just frantically, it's just that kind of stuff that Zach Taylor brings. That is, I hope he just stays in the team for the next 10 games just to work on his AFL craft, and hopefully he's a long-term player.
That I like that too, Nuz. I just wonder whether he'll keep his spot if Josh Rochelle comes back this week, but we'll see.
Yeah, maybe they rest Draper and
I think that's
and put Taylor as the sub. That would be
I'd agree with that too. I think Draper probably has a good run now, so maybe give him a bit of a break.
Well, Boz is in the chat, so he'll obviously have the selections.
And I reckon his fortunes will lie on whether Fogg gets up as well.
Yeah.
True that.
That's true.
Well, thank you very much, Nuz, for ringing in,
pleasure.
Giving us our sample.
Hopefully I can be at the Torrens next week.
Excellent.
We would love that.
Yes.
That might be 2 in a row then, because we've got a certain number after next week.
Oh,
Indeed.
yes, the fanfare.
Yes, of course.
Indeed. All right.
Thanks,
Lovely
Nuz.
chatting with you, Nuz. We'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys. Catch you.
Bye.
Or should we get the sauna selection?
We could do the sauna selection.
Yeah, we'll start talking about that. Well, before we do that, we've obviously got Freo this week, and not on Good Friday, but on Anzac Day. Anzac Day Eve, It's pretty much the afternoon in WA though, I'm sure. It's always, what is it, 3.5 hours behind or something?
I don't know, something.
Let's just say that. But Freo are an interesting one. Last 5 games, they've had the wood over the Crows. 4 out of 5 games Freo have won, including a 1-point victory at Adelaide Oval. But they've won 3. They won 3 in a row at Adelaide Oval, dating back to 2020. Crows got them in 2023 by 39 points. And then last year, Freo beat the Crows by 35.
Oh, that was a terrible game, that one.
If you go back beyond those to the top 10 games, the Crows had the wood over them for 4 out of 5 of the first 10, including a 100-point victory at Adelaide Oval and a 72-point victory in Freo back in 2016 and 2017, respectively. So interesting history. But yeah, Freo definitely have had the rub of the green recently. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. But before we get into more about it, let's hear Bozza.
Yes. It's like a sauna in here.
Afternoon, guys. Selections from the sauna, round 7. 2 special guests with school holidays ending this week.
Round 7, Purple Wharfies at Concrete Park. In buckets, Billy D and Rocky Rochelle. Out Fog, Draper Train Station and Berry. Good win last week against a tough Orange side, but we need this one.
Thanks, guys. Speak to you next week.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Boz.
That's very good.
And the girls.
And the girls. Thanks, the girls. My girls are here in the studio tonight as well. They've been very good.
Where are they?
They are somewhere over there, but they haven't crept into the video camera this time. Which Margot was asking if she could come on and say hello, but she hasn't at this stage. But no, thanks to Mini Bozzers.
Buckets.
Yeah, I was wondering who that was too.
Do we know who Buckets is?
Can only assume that it's Chris Burgess.
Surely not.
Buckets.
Because he said Buckets, Dowling, and
is Billy D.
God, I've already forgotten.
Billy D and
my memory is shot.
Rocky Rochelle.
Oh yeah, Rochelle back. Yep.
Buckets. We're just assuming it's Chris Buckets Burgess.
I just don't think that's who he meant. I actually don't know who he means.
No, it's definitely Burgess. Tell us in the chat, Bozza.
No, I do know. It's the person who wears a bucket hat.
Oh, of course it is Peatling. Yeah,
of course.
That's right. Yes, because I should have known that because he actually sent us a photo with his girls with Peatling.
Just for the sake of
Boz.
pod fodder, I'm going to die on the hill. It's Burgess.
Oh yes,
No,
literally everyone in the chat calling us idiots.
Come on,
it's really hard.
They want you want to see Chris Burgess in there.
Yeah,
bring him in for Fog.
No, Peatling in is a good call. If I'm assuming he was suspended, wasn't he? So
he was.
Right
Peatling. I think it'll be Peatling in, Rochelle in, and it's just a matter of is Fog out or is he good to go?
Yeah,
and that'll determine a couple of the outs.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we got the AFL Max was giving us the hot goss this afternoon. See that some Rochelle's had to pull out of a gig on Friday, so because he's fit to play.
There you go.
So
very good.
Yeah.
You got some stats for this upcoming game for us?
A few bits and pieces. So their record is 9th. So they've had 3 wins, 3 losses. Their 3 wins are against West Coast, Bulldogs. They beat at home, and Richmond. So Bulldog were a bit depleted at that stage. So no real amazing victories for them as yet this year. They lost. They got smashed by the Cats away. Sydney beat them in a close game at home for Freo. And they just lost a close-ish one to Melbourne, where they were a touch too welcoming for their trade target in Pickett.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, so form-wise, they've been pretty stinky. They've got to really turn this around if Sam's prediction is going to come true.
And yours. Don't put me...
Yeah,
I didn't have them winning it.
No, you tipped them for the grand final, though.
Yeah,
I had them top 4.
They're still primed perfectly to make a grand final, just not to win it.
They've looked shocking, haven't they?
Oh, well, yeah, they're looking like almost a bit like us, where they just expected that it would happen this year. They got their ducks in a row, and this is going to happen. They got their show Bolton in, and just hasn't happened.
Shea Bolton's
us
been
last
pretty average.
Yeah, he played pretty well. And
Yeah.
he's done all right.
He's okay, but he hasn't made a big difference to the team.
No.
So.
And of course, we don't have a Nuffy tonight, so there'll be no guesses of the Dennis Armfield, which means we're going to next in line, which is Ben.
But before I do that, I'll just go through some quick stats.
Oh, I thought that were your stats. All right.
Oh,
good.
I've got a few.
That's fine.
So they're another handball happy sort of a team. So I think last year they were more of a chippy team, whereas this year they're like 17th for kicks, 6th for handball. So they've changed up their game style, and they're only 16th for marks. So yeah, I don't know. Their bottom half are contested and uncontested possession as well. It's hard to see a picture of a very good game plan that they have going on at the moment, which might be part of their problems.
Are you saying that Longmuir's not a super coach?
Doesn't appear to be having them running beautifully at the moment. So they're near the bottom for tackles. So I'm not. The one thing they do well is they're second for disposal efficiency, but that might be just because they handball it so much. So I don't know. Looking at all that, geez. It's going to be disappointing when they really turn up against us.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, I think it's. I think I said to you on the phone earlier. It's one of those games that I would love to go in confident, and probably Adelaide Oval, Freo win last week. I would be just tipping us to do it comfortably, but over there off a bad loss, everyone's talking about how stinky they are. It's just one of those games that I just can't go in confident. I'm going to tip us, but I just you couldn't confidently. You wouldn't want to put any money on it. Let's put it that way. And we are Freo favourites in the betting. Well, they were when they first went up.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if that stayed, but
go.
They also have some handy outs, which should, in normal weeks, it would help us. Will Brodie, Nat Fyfe, Luke Jackson, Nathan O'Driscoll, Jaeger O'Meara, or Jaeger, however you say it, Michael Walters, Brandon Walker, Sam Sturt, etc. They've got, long injury list.
Yeah, it's one of those games that's going to be really frustrating if we drop it because it sort of puts us just behind that where we probably really want to be with the games that we've played so far.
We really do need to come out strong early and not let them get a real run on.
No.
We can't lose it in the first quarter.
Because you'd imagine Anzac Day they'll have a fair crowd there too.
Big crowd.
I know they've been shit, but...
Big atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's hard to be... Oh, you go. Yeah, go on.
Give the kick to Dennis. So we're right behind him, and the Carlton fans are right behind him. Once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, look at that.
Yes! He's the master blaster.
Unlike when we played GWS last week, Freo do have a lot of Armfield possible nominations.
They do have a few options.
Have you got?
The one that I have gone with is a previous Crows Academy player.
I knew you were going to pick him.
The kind of player that we're kind of lacking the depth in it right at the moment.
Yeah.
One young Isaiah Dudley.
Ooh.
Just the kind of player to kick a sneaky 4 to 5 goals.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that would be...
Yeah, no sub for him against us. Straight into it.
Well, they did say in the mix... in the mix, right up a small forward, Isaiah Dudley could push for elevation after 2 weeks as a substitute. So
straight into it, 4 goals.
He's played pretty well. He's looked all right.
Yeah, when he was young, I saw a write-up. Johnny Platten said, this is a remarkable talent. In his draft year where he never got drafted. So, so he's got skills. I think he's one of those players where he suffers from recruiters not liking someone short because he's like 168 centimetres or something. So.
Yeah.
You can also see Jai Amos being a very straight kicker this week, not missing many goals.
I cracked that dad joke when he kicked that first goal.
You kind of have to. It's a bit of a rite of passage.
It is,
as a father, to make a shit Amos joke.
Yeah. Yep.
He'll probably kick 5 though, let's face it.
Yeah, their biggest weapon is Tracy though.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, is it someone that Murray has to go to, or is it Keane, or have we got someone big enough to deal with him?
Yeah, he's
surely Murray
dominating
goes
a bit.
to Tracy, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And then Keane on
Amos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think. I don't know. I'm
anyone
clearly
else,
not an expert.
Anyone else particularly big down there now? That's Bolton.
Where's Taverner?
No, he is delisted.
Yeah, Tracy is leading goal kicker in the AFL alongside Ben King at the moment. So
Yeah, Tracy's good.
Yeah, big marker.
Yes. But, it's one of the, I don't know. On form, it's us and like all day. But, I have very little confidence.
We really need to win an away game too to really stamp our credentials.
Yeah.
So.
It's another team where we go in and go, "Ooh, look at their midfield. Like their Sarong and Brayshaw and Young's come back into the team."
It is a good midfield.
I still don't feel like the gap between other people's midfields and ours is that big anymore.
No.
So I feel
shouldn't be.
We should be able to nullify. I think against GWS we smashed their midfield. So I don't think theirs is as strong as it used to be.
Why'd you laugh?
Chris Mills, what about Showtime Shy? Apparently we all call him that according to Kelly Underwood.
Showtime.
Well, it's hard to not use that.
Yeah.
It is. Do we have any social media before we get into our predictions for the game?
Yeah, we do.
Out of bounds on the full.
Couple from Instagram. Roscoe, the boss and co. I'm concerned Charlie Edwards isn't getting enough of a run. Yeah.
Well, he's not getting any of a run.
No, not in the A's anyway. No. Yeah.
I would love to see him play. I just don't know whose spot he takes at the moment. That back six really just needs to get the consistency. And if he's playing a half-back position...
His only spot would be for someone like Laird, I think.
Yeah, and you can't... Unfortunately, Laird's form is pretty good in that position. Miller is coming on a bit more now. Nankervis has had to fight for a spot and got in. So, I just don't see where he fits currently. But if one of those guys goes down, he's first in for mine.
Yeah, he's a perfect injury replacement. Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the way it works for when the backline's in form.
Yeah. Look how many people have seen our story.
Why are you showing me that?
119.
Oh, I couldn't see the number.
It's purple and blue on black, so that's not the easiest thing
My
to see.
eyes are shit.
And Yoshi's Child said, hey, we won ugly onto Freo. Rash, Peedle's in, Sid to sub, and maybe see if Edwards is in. Yeah, well, obviously we just talked about Edwards then, but yeah, I'd love to see us give Edwards a go. It's just hard to know, whose spot he takes at this point. Yeah, it's going to take some serious run of loss of form of somebody or an injury. So, yeah,
cool. Is that it for social media?
That's it. Oh, we got one from Dino, but like I said back to him, we didn't want to hear from him. So.
I hear from him enough on my DMs.
It's not really the sort of commentary we need, is it?
No.
I will say, Dino, he just does the tongue-in-cheek thing.
I know he does.
Not too much, probably.
Yeah. Well, how's he going to feel when Draper comes to the Crows next year?
Yeah, not good. He's played his last Bombers game, surely.
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah.
I saw a bit of commentary on social media actually about, now we might not go for him because he's injured. I'm like, we actually will because he probably won't play for the rest of this year and he'll be able to come over and get a good preseason.
Like Achilles is an interesting one though too. You do take a bit of a risk, especially with a ruckman. It's an interesting one, but it's...
Well, it's not an injury in isolation. He has really struggled with his body for a long time.
True that though, yeah.
So
when you think about that.
I'm not fully against going for him. I just really hope we're not going nuts with our offer if that's what we're doing.
We obviously don't have to hand over any collateral to get him.
But I wouldn't waste a whole lot of salary.
No, I agree.
So
yeah, I agree.
That's where it will get interesting.
But it is interesting today that Kautumi brought us up in the equation where he's sort of avoided us, but it's basically if he did leave Essendon, then we would be the likely destination when it's been talked up that he wanted to stay in Melbourne. So
I saw that even earlier this week. It's interesting that it's changed that quickly.
Yeah,
Kautumi's normally ahead of it too.
Usually, yeah. So... it sounds like hopefully there's going to be some changes to how the draft has been set up too. He was floating today. Some clubs are getting pretty antsy about all this academy and father-son and NGA.
It's going to be a 50-man first round.
Yeah. They need to change it. Like it's getting out of hand. I like the way that it's been going, generally speaking, but the clubs have got too smart with it now. So it's just becoming a joke, really. I think if
it's pretty much all of Gold Coast team now. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand if you've got first access to a player, isn't that enough? Like that's enough of an advantage. Why do you need to get these discounts and all this other crap? So you end up playing a third rounder, a couple of fourth rounders to get a first round pick. It's just weird. Yeah. Anyway, that's a discussion for later in the year with Nuz here, so we don't look stupid.
Yes.
I think we look very, very smart.
No, I don't think so.
Here we go!
All right, here we go indeed. It's Friday night football for the Crows, sort of. Sam, who have you got winning and by how much?
I'm going to tip us. It's going to probably be a lot more frustrating game than I'd hope, but maybe 12 points.
Cool. Take it. Who have you got, Ben?
Yep, so Freo reeling after a stinging loss, better at home. Their ruckman, our ruckman, pretty similar. Their midfield, our midfield, I don't feel is a massive gap. They've got a really good one forward, but I think we've got more options. I'm going to go with a 25-point win, but a loss would not shock me and would seem to fit in with how history has gone.
That was a really long sentence.
No, I think Ben's pretty much summed up how I'm feeling. However, I'm going to tip Freo by 4 points. I think it's going to be one of those painful ones where we could win, but we're a bit too sloppy. They're going to test our defensive game, which we obviously did really well with against GWS, but can we do it 2 weeks in a row? I don't know. Desperately want us to win this one because this one will really make a big difference, I think, to how our just our ledger looks. I think it looks a lot better at 5-2, obviously, following this and going into playing Carlton at home. But yeah, I think Freo might be too good.
Weather looks good. 23, no rain, and wind's easing, so that should suit our, well, hopefully if Fog plays tall forward line.
We've just got used to blustery conditions.
Yeah, so I know, that's right.
Really nailed that.
Perth's turning it on.
Yeah,
it should be a beautiful night.
Nice.
So,
I'll be definitely watching and hoping for a win for the Crows. Thanks very much for...
God, Dad.
So exciting.
Let's boot this one home.
So exciting. Thanks, everybody, for listening to us again tonight. Episode 117.
Feeling much more excited about the game.
I think Dad nodded off there mid-sentence.
I woke myself up when I said Crows. No. So far, so good. Thanks very much for listening in. Buy us a coffee if you feel that way inclined. Lauren will hopefully be back next week. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks for hosting, Daniel.
No worries. And everyone, thank you for joining the chat. And we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.